I hope you all can see it. So yeah, so what is that? So let's start with the importance of communication, healthy communication. So if the communication is healthy, then we can say that there are a lot of benefits, starting with developing a positive relationship with your child. You can actually help in strengthening their cognitive and conceptual development. It improves bonding, very important, and it also helps in emotional development. So I'll tell you something. Parents don't wake up in the morning planning to make a child's life difficult. No mother or father thinks or says that, okay, today I will shout, nag, or humiliate my child. Actually, on the contrary, we tend to decide that, okay, today I will not yell, I will not argue. I have heard parents saying like that, parents saying like that, okay, I always decide like that, but still the unnecessary war happens. The parenthood is an endless series of small events, periodic conflicts, sudden crises that call for a response, and the response is not without consequence. So it affects the personality and self regard for better or worse. So then you must be thinking, okay, only disturbed parent responds in a way that is damaging to a child. That's not true. Even loving parents also tend to blame, shame, threaten, and whatnot. So, because most parents are actually unaware of the destructive power of words, we find ourselves saying things that we heard from our parents. The tragedy of such communication often lies not in the lack of caring, but in the lack of understanding that, okay, not because if you're not intelligent or it's a lack of knowledge, actually. So it's always about the understanding that you have, and also it's about the knowledge that you have about parenting and child development. So I have seen people saying, we love our children. We just need common sense to raise them. What skills do we need? Just the common sense we need. So I've read in a book, there was this interesting example the author was depicting. That was something like, okay, if a surgeon came into the operating room before the anesthesiologist, the doctors might be knowing. So, and said, I really don't have much training in surgery. The doctor is saying that to the patient. Just imagine. I really don't have much training in surgery, but I love my patients and I use common sense. Patients would probably panic and run for their lives for sure. So we need to have special skills to become competent in coping with the daily demands of children. And we need to be skilled in the use of words, because words can inflict painful emotional wounds. We all know that. Not only with kids, even with other adults, and in the personal relationship we all know words actually make a lot of problems. Everything is fine? Okay. So just imagine there is a guest came to your house, and just imagine you're telling the guest, why are you not eating properly? Eat properly. Finish that food. Why are you always behaving like that? Am I not presenting?
Shemsiya, it's not.
Okay. There is what are you seeing on the screen? Yeah,
Saying the guests that they're not eating well.
I'm sorry. Just a minute.
Shemsiya, it is a second second slide, it seems. Okay. Yeah, now it's okay.
Okay, got it. So I was talking about an example, talking about you imagine a situation where a guest came to your house and you're talking to the guest something like, why are you not eating well? Eat it properly. Sit here. Why are you not sitting properly? So such kind of things. Just imagine what would the guest will be feeling. But when we do the same thing with our children, it is just normal. Okay. It's just we normalize it so well, like, okay, it's a child and I'm a parent and I can do whatever, I can say whatever, and we don't consider the child as an individual who has interests, who has emotions, who has likes and dislikes. We don't do that. So let's consider our child as a guest in our house and consider them as a separate individual who needs respect and who needs a lot of importance, when we need to look at their needs also. So let's to understand, so getting to the usual way of communication now, to understand the usual way of communication we have with our kids, let's get into some INGs. I hope the slide has changed. Can you see the let's get into some INGs?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, INGs. So let's start with a popular one, comparing. Okay. Look at your cousin, how nicely he is behaving. Why don't you be like him? You must have heard this somewhere, or you must have used the same dialogue. Maybe not in the same tone, maybe in a very lower tone. However it is, the effect is the same. Kids can feel stressed and pressurized if they are constantly compared with others. Comparisons can affect their academic performance as well as their overall development. We use it so normally, but actually, like even we don't know that we are comparing our children with other children. We don't actually have that word in our mind. I'm comparing my child. No, we are conditioned to it, and we just simply use it like that. So let us look at just take a look at the ill effects of comparing kids with others. So what will happen?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Somebody is not able to see the slides, it seems. They are not pinning, it seems.
Are you
You
able
can
to
pin.
see?
Yeah, I'm able to see it. Please pin the slide so that you'll be able to see it.
Okay. How does that
Please pin
happen?
Shemsiya.
Okay. Now is it okay? Or should I pin the slides? Yeah? Okay. Rise is saying not able to see. Yeah, okay. Is that okay? Not yet? Shruti, help me. I actually pinned it.
They are supposed to do it, Shemsiya.
Okay. Oh, I should not do. I'm very bad at technology. I'm really sorry. I hope this is fine. Is
Please
it fine?
pin Shemsiya. Shemsiya.
Okay. Can I continue?
Yeah, Shemsiya.
Okay. And I don't have to pin myself, right? Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's look at this part where what will happen when you keep on comparing your child with the other children, which is happening unknowingly from your end. So they will lose their own talents and strength. They tend to be jealous. They will feel inferior to others. It will create their distance from you. It stays in their head and they become rude. They will stop trying. They try hard. Some children will try hard to get that approval or try to be perfect, but when they fail they will get anxious and upset. And there are more if I start talking about it. So let's not compare our children even unknowingly. Try to be aware of the words you use. If such words are coming, please be mindful and don't do that. Let's, instead of comparing, let's focus on acceptance. Okay, acceptance is when you, okay, acceptance is when, no, okay, acceptance happens when you don't have a lot of expectations and when you don't judge your child a lot. So you are accepting your child as he is, as she is. He is very unique. She is unique. She has a lot of strength, talents, and if you are looking at that way, and they have a lot of superpowers. If you're looking your child like that, you will be able to find all the positive behaviors, strength, and everything, and you will be amazed to realize that okay, my child is so cool. My child has a lot of strength. So if you start looking at the positive things, you will only see positive things. Anybody would like to tell me any other dialogues that come to your mind like, or whether you have experienced or whether you have used unknowingly. Anybody would like to try? It's the usual way of comparing. I have experienced from my parents, and I am still working on it, and I think most of it I have overcome, I think. And whenever we do, like, for I think for 2 years back, how I was and how I was thinking, in like, even my parents did it unknowingly, especially like in situations that just happens like that, just say it like that. So, but when that happens now, also, even a very like a humorous way, also, I used to tell my parents, see, I think that's not okay. That funnier way, because we have that proper bonding, but still this kind of words actually affect, and that's not okay, right? So, have you, anybody wants to say any experience or add any other dialogues that come to your mind when you think about comparing? If nothing is there, we'll move on. Hello. I think no. Okay, let's move on. So instead of comparing, let's focus on acceptance. Okay. And then the second point is blaming. The second ing form is blaming. Okay. And even this is very common. How can you be so careless? Why don't you understand what I'm saying? You always do this. When parents want their kids to follow an order or an instruction, their efforts at skillful communication aren't working. They often put their foot down and to enforce a solution. Something is happening, or if you want to tell an instruction to your child, the only your need will be met. I want my child to clean himself or take bath, and child is not ready, but you enforce that. Why are you doing this? Go do it. Or if the child has done a mistake, and we tend to get into our foot and we try to solve it. So the key is to communicate with your children and help them understand why their behavior is unacceptable. But you must put careful consideration into the words you use. How you So let's say a kid just left a pile of toys all over the living room floor. After you both agreed that he or she could play with them only if they clean everything up after they are done. But then what happens? The child hasn't done that. And then you start talking to the child like, okay, why you be so careless? You should know better. So blaming is actually a put down. It can easily cause children to feel guilty, unloved, and rejected. Even worse, it prevents you from developing a positive relationship with them. So a conflict can be resolved peacefully when you speak with kindness and show that your true intention is to get everyone's underlying needs met. So before responding to your child's bad behavior, it may help to ask yourself, how can I demonstrate that with a little more effort and understanding? There are ways for us all to win, actually. So remember, the goal is to coach, not control. If the child is not ready to keep the toys away or keep it somewhere the toys has to be, then you need to ask the child what happened. Would you like my help? Or maybe you can make it as a fun game or something. Okay, let's put up the timer on 5 minutes cleanup. Let's do that. So there you don't have to get into unwanted conversations or anything like that, or damaging words that you don't have to do that. You don't have to use. So it just happens like that. Come, let's clean together. I'll help you. So maybe it won't have happen every day, but still try to connect with the child so that you will get an idea and you can involve the child to solve that problem at your hand. So, for example, this is a situation where when Arun's mother came home after a tiring day, she found her 8-year-old in a angry mood, and he was complaining about her not being there after he's back from school. So mother was like, why are you so angry? I just came back home from work. Why don't you understand? Today I had to leave late. So when that happens, the child will be more angry, and the child will feel upset and rejected, unloved. So if this is done like this, oh, okay, I see an angry boy. In fact, I see a very angry boy. Then Harun says, yes, I'm angry, very angry. Mother says, okay, oh, I missed you. You're never home and come home when I come home from school. So mother says, okay, I'm glad you told me. Now I know you want me to be home when you come home from school. What happened there? We actually acknowledged the child's emotion. We didn't look at the behavior as such. So when we look at the emotions first and not giving much attention for the behavior, it actually solves them. Most of the problems will get solved at that first stage itself. If it is going out of our hands, then we'll have to wait till the child calms down, and then later you talk about it and get into problem solving. So we need a language that is protective of feelings. So at that point of time, if you're telling you're such a bad child and you don't understand, you're always like that, you're so bad. If you're saying like that, okay, then again the conflicts will increase and it will affect the relationship you have with your child. So let's give more attention to the feelings and emotions, not critical of the behavior. Then comes the very important next point. All the points are important. All the INGs are important. So the next one is criticizing. Again, that's not the way. Give me, I'll do it. Otherwise, you will spoil it. You always make mistakes. Parents should avoid criticizing their children's thoughts, feelings, ideas, or children themselves. Children often see such criticism as direct attacks, and the result can be lowered self-esteem. When necessary, parents should criticize behavior or what children have done, not children themselves. You can actually criticize the behavior, but not in a very angry mode or some like very difficult tone. You can do that to the behavior, not to the children themselves. What I mean by that is, when the children does a behavior, an unacceptable behavior, if you're saying, okay, you are such a bad child, instead of saying, we always have that tendency, okay, you bad boy, bad girl. Okay, if the child is doing something good, good boy, that also doesn't have much effect, I would say. I'll talk about that. So if you can look at only the behavior and talk about it and discuss about it, would be good. Make them think about it and how they can do what they can do instead of that behavior. You can do that. But if you are directly attacking their personality attributes, their characters, then that is a problem. While criticizing, parents attack children's personality attributes and their characters, but when we give guidance, we tend to state the problem and a possible solution. We say nothing to the child about himself or herself. For example, when a child accidentally spilled water, this must have anyway happened at your house for sure. Just imagine the situation. So if the mother says, why are you so careless? The child will be anxious next time when he takes the water and spills again. I have heard the same scenario from one of our grandparents. So, and the cycle repeats, and it may affect their confidence and they will give up. They get anxious whenever they do it. And when they become an adult, that cycle, that thing will repeat. Whenever you do anything, you will get anxious. You will lose that confidence. You think that, okay, it's a small thing that happened in their childhood, but it will affect their adulthood also. But if the parents say, I see the water spilled, you're actually stating the problem at hand. I see the water spilled. Let's get another glass of water and a cloth. Solution. When things go wrong, it is not the right time to teach the offender about his personality. Try to respond rather than react. So if you're going in the car and with your spouse and you are going in a very, like what to say, you lost track of the direction, and actually you were looking for the direction and the husband was driving, it seems, and his spouse, my wife starts saying, okay, why you are always careless. That is actually attacking the personality attribute or the character. Instead, if we can look at the behavior and state the problem and then look for the solution, would be good. So then there is another point that is very similar to criticizing, that is overcorrecting. Whenever children are talking, parents should give them the opportunity to finish what they are saying before speaking themselves. This is actually a common courtesy, but we don't usually do that. Like common way, usually we see that way. Children who feel that they can't get a word in edgewise with their parents may stop communicating with them altogether. So they show something, and when they start correcting a lot, and whenever they do something, while they are eating in the on the table, like they all are sitting together and eating. The child is eating. Okay, why are you eating like that? Like I talked about the guest. And while going out, why are you wearing this? Why are you wearing that way? Give me, I'll help you. That's another point. Similar point is over helping. Then later when the child grows up and the child is not able to do anything by himself or herself, then you say that my child is very dependent and he is not able to do anything by himself. I'm worried. So just look at your words, just look at the way you behave. That actually has a lot of things to say about the behavior you see in your children. So instead of criticism, you need to give guidance and opportunities. For example, a child coming back from school and said, I lost my book today. And the teacher shouted at me and she started crying. So if you're saying, why everything happens to you? You are being so careless. You must have done something wrong. Otherwise, teacher would not have done that. Instead of that, just imagine if you're saying, oh, honey, you sure had an unusually rough day. You're acknowledging the situation. When that happens, that problem itself, and the child also will feel that, okay, I'm being heard. I have my mother with me to support. So parental criticism is unhelpful. It creates anger and resentment. If it was the first dialogue, just imagine how it would be. You are always careless, and child will not stay there for a long time. She will just leave that space. And even worse, children who are regularly criticized learn to condemn themselves and others. They learn to doubt their own worth and to belittle the values of others. They learn to suspect people and to expect personal doom. So even you can just look around and there are adults who do the same thing. They always find problems in everyone or in everything because they have been criticized as a child, and maybe we don't know. But I would say they learn from their childhood, and when they become an adult, we feel very inferior to others. We suspect that, okay, I don't have any worth, and we also find faults in others too. So everything has a connection. Then comes the threatening part and empty threats. So imagine you are feeding your child and the child is not eating, and you're saying, if you don't eat well, I will not take you out. Okay. Later, if the child will not eat, or even he eats also, definitely you will take him out, even if he does not eat, because you have already decided. If you're crying like this, I'm leaving, you stay here. Will you leave your child at home alone and you will leave? No, you don't do that. So it's an empty threat. If you're not finishing your homework on time, I will not give you screen. Even if the child has not done it, if you're giving the screen, then the child thinks that, okay, mama is saying simply. The trust will go simple. The trust will not be there, and it will affect the bonding also, and they will not listen to you if you are doing it every day. And threatening, also the same thing. And there is another thing, like, okay, eat fast, your father is coming. You're actually putting a negative image about the child's father or the grandfather or the uncle or auntie, whoever it is. He's coming, eat fast, I'll tell him. So even that is threatening. So let's use this Premack principle where we can say, instead what we can do is first and then. So shall we finish this first and then go out together? That's not threatening or empty threats. It's just telling what we are doing first and what we're going to do. And if the child is not eating, there should be a reason. Try to understand. If the child is crying, there should be a reason. Oh, what happened? You feel upset? Would you like to tell me, or find out what is it? Talk to the child or give some time. And that's how it has to be. And it needs a lot of effort and lot of skills, like I said before. And then the next point is nagging. Okay. Nagging is also a very usual thing we can see at home. It is repeat. It is, what is nagging? If you ask me, it is repeat. Like nagging is something that repeatedly we say. It is repeating something that has already been said. And there is another similar word I would say is lecturing. It is giving more information than is needed without stopping to listen to others' opinions or ideas. Parents can avoid nagging and lecturing by keeping their conversation with their children brief, okay, short, shrink the lecture. Parents should also keep in mind that once they have told their children something once, there is no need to say it again. Nagging and lecturing cause children to stop listening or to become defensive or resentful. I have seen parents saying, I try to be, sorry, I try to be calm with my children, with my child, but he does not listen to me. He only hears me when I scream or shout, because you have made a pattern. Once you tell, second time you again tell him, and you get angry. Third time and fourth time you will get angry, and that happens. So that's when the children understand. Okay. The first time when you tell him, the child will feel that okay, my mother is not serious yet. Let me wait. Second time again you are telling. Third time you are again. Fourth time when you shout, then the child understands. Okay, the mother is serious now. Let me do it. There are children who say, I don't tell my mother anything. If I start in with her, she will not listen. Instead, she keeps asking questions. If that is the situation at home, then the usual conversation might be sounds like two monologues, like one consisting of criticism and instructions and denials and pleading. To keep nagging by going behind them, there is a chance that they will stop listening to you. If you can connect first before giving instructions, or break the chain instructions you give. When I said that, I remember saying, I'll give you an example. A child coming back from school in the evening. Okay, just imagine the child is very tired. Okay, and the child comes in and you start telling, okay, keep the bag, go to the bathroom, take bath, come out, eat. There are a lot of it's chain instructions we are giving, and we keep nagging also. So if you're doing that, the children will not be able to, first of all, they are already tired. A lot of things have happened the whole day. Okay, and the brain has used a lot of, like they had to do a lot of activities and giving attention constantly. Everything they've used, and they came back and they are actually overwhelmed and tired. And when you give a lot of instructions like that, change instructions like that, the child will not do it. Maybe out of fear they will do it, but later they will stop doing that also. So try to make it easier for them by breaking into small tasks, or by presenting it fun. First of all, connect with the child first. A very important time of the day where the child needs that connection. One it is from the beginning of the day when they wake up, one when after they come back from school, and another time is before they sleep. These three time is very important. The children, you need to connect with the child, but just when the child comes in, okay, you can just welcome them with a smile itself. That itself is a lot of change will happen, and you can give them 5 minutes rest. It's fine, and then let them do it. Just divide it into small tasks and ask them what they are going to do after they take the rest. Are you planning to do it now, or you're planning to do it after 5 minutes? You can give options. See, these are simple tips I'm giving. It will be different in each home, and each houses, in each child is different, each parent is different. The scenarios will be different. But generally, if we are looking at it, we can use such tips, these tips, so that the child, if you're doing it consistently, you will see the results also. So next point is labeling. Even this is important. He's a very naughty child, very difficult to manage. We often tell ourselves that, okay, with like if the child is having any issue, or usually the labeling part, you would be thinking, okay, at school, if the child is has done any showed any bad behavior or something, or if we need to do an assessment or something, then the parents have told me all day, child will get labeled. That's not the only labeling. We also do it as parents. In most of the houses, for example, storms between parents and children develop in a regular and predictable sequence. The child does or say something wrong, the parent reacts and calls them a stupid or naughty or a difficult to manage kind of a child. And that is labeling. So when the parent reacts with something insulting, the child replies with something worse, you will never listen to me. Kind of dialogues are very common. And it will turn out to be a belief in their mind. They think that, okay, I'm a child who does not listen. And it happens, it will happen again. So for example, when a father says to his child, okay, when he was playing with a glass, a cup or something, like the father is saying, you will break it. You are always breaking things. Then child says no. Then the cup actually breaks after some time. And the father says loudly, are you stupid? You break everything in the house. And the child says, you are stupid. You broke that white plate 2 days back. Then it goes on. Actually, what the child is saying is true, because that's what he understood. Okay, if we break a plate, then we are stupid. That means if when father is stupid. So then what happens? Then spanking happens and you're rude and whatnot. If the father had actually removed the glass and redirected him to another substitute, like a ball or any other toy, or when the cup was broken, even if the cup was broken, if he had helped him to dispose the pieces with comments such as cups can break so easily, who would have thought that such a small cup could make a big mess? So the surprise of such a low-toned sentence might have helped the child apology for the behavior later. So from minor incidents, children can actually learn a lot of, I would say, major lessons and values. They need to understand which one is unpleasant, which is tragic or catastrophic. Actually, there are people who, like if an egg is broken, I have seen people saying something like, okay, something like the leg is broken. That much tragic and catastrophic they think, and they make a big mess out of it. And what have you done? A lot of things will happen. The children will actually get confused which one is unpleasant, which is tragic. They won't be able to understand. So even for small things, they get to worry and they get upset even for small things. So whenever you tell something like you're stupid or careless, clumsy, they do take it in and they believe it. And they even build anger and hatred. So instead, if you can label their positive behaviors, even they believe too. Okay. Any questions? We can take the questions at the end of the session. I hope there is no question. Okay. So, am I presenting? You all can see it, right?
Yeah, Shemsiya.
Yes, yes. Okay. So let's get into the labeling part again. So instead of labeling, what you can do, labeling the negative behaviors or the unacceptable behaviors, just look at their positive behaviors and label it. You talk about those positive behaviors in front of everyone. If you're in a room and you and your sister are there, and if a child is playing there, you can just simply tell your sister, you know what? Maybe the child's name is what to say, Rida. Okay, Rida kept the book in the cupboard. Like you should see her room. How nicely she has kept the books. Just giving an example. Okay, anything. The child might be overhearing it. Even that is labeling. When she would think, okay, I'm a child who keeps everything neatly. When that is labeling. So and also you can tell that directly also to the child. So let them hear and overhear mostly positive remarks about themselves. So they believe that too. Okay. So if you're saying bad things, then they will believe that, okay, they are clumsy, they are stupid, they're careless. But if you're saying, okay, my child is very neat, he is positive, there are a lot of positive behaviors. When you look into it, you will see a lot of positive behaviors. But we don't usually give much attention to the positive behaviors, right? So let's label the positive behaviors and let tell them directly, and also let them overhear it, like I just said. Okay, so if I talk about the ing forms and all the communication part, it would not end today. So let me just other things I would like to include is advising. Even I think in the lecturing part I've done that. Children don't like advising a lot. You can give advices if the children are ready to hear it. But whatever they are saying to you, and then you keep advising, the children will actually tell you, okay, okay, I think I have other work. I'm going. They will not listen to you. They will stop telling you things. Then shouting, screaming is a very usual forms, and you all know that that's not okay. and I don't want to get into it. Neglecting, silence. I have seen parents doing it. If something happens and they don't, they say that, okay, I'm being calm. You are actually not calm. You're not calm in your head. You keep that silence and children will get confused. What is happening? So there is something wrong. There is this vibe, negative vibe around the house, in the house. So even that is a problem. Communicate, talk to the child. If you're not able to communicate, then take some time and then communicate, but don't pretend that, okay, you're not angry. You communicate that feelings also to the child. You don't have to attack their personal attributes, like I said before. You can talk about the behavior. I'm actually angry. I couldn't understand why that happened. Would you like to tell me? Because I have kept that food there. I think you haven't eaten that. You can be serious. Serious tone can be used, but it shouldn't be like you're attacking the child himself. That's all. That doesn't mean you need to shout or scream. No, not like that. You can be serious. You can communicate your feelings. And then instilling fear. I actually got really upset seeing that there was this parent who told me, not the cring parent outside, one of my relatives, he had told me, I show this video to my child. That was a person who was talking very, like it was a very scary video. He says that, okay, if you watch screen again, I will come and take you, or something like that. And actually, and even for while sleeping also, he shows that video to the child, it seems. Just imagine. And also there are people who make noise in the room so that the children will sleep. All this kind of, no, that's not okay. You're actually instilling fear in the child, and the child will have problems in going to the toilet by himself. You must have seen that. You must have experienced, or you must have seen in other children also. Next is sarcasm, where usually we a very traditional way where parents are using sarcasm when they say things they don't mean, imply the opposite of what they're saying through their tone of voice. An example is like, okay, aren't you grateful? Something like that. When a child breaks something, then if my parent is asking like that, it's kind of a sarcasm. The use of sarcasm actually hurts children. Sarcasm is never a useful tool for parents who are trying to effectively communicate with the children. You won't understand what all things we had to go through. You don't have anything in your hand. You just you get everything from us. Sarcasm. Then next is bribing. Bribing, even I used to tell my husband whenever he says something, okay, come here, I'll give you this. He's doing a video call. How can he give something? And then he will stop going. And I used to tell him, don't bribe him. You're bribing. So actually, if you do this, I'll give you this. And I've seen people saying, simply holding their hand, and they say, I'll give you this, come, or say this, I'll give you. And the child says it, open the hands, nothing is said. Gone. Trust is gone. They will not listen to you later, for sure. This is real experience I've seen in front of me. Even to my child, I've seen that. People doing it. Okay, I'm not blaming my husband. That this happened once. There are people, there are others who do that, and I've seen it. And because I know it, and I know that it is not okay, I don't do it. I really want that I really want to keep my trust with the child, with my child. So I am not going to do that. So there are a lot of other ING forms, and I don't think we'll be able to do everything today. So before going to how it affects the brain development, I would like to tell you about the program we have at CRINC, that is parenting without frustration. So this is kind of, we'll be introducing 3 themes which help you in parenting better. It includes, hi. Okay. It includes build the bond. That is, through right bonding, you will gain influence over child. In that team, we'll be mainly focusing on all the points and more, all about bonding, how you can strengthen your bonding with your child, because it is very important. And they also have many strategies. The team has a lot of strategies and tricks to make your bonding stronger with your children. And it is really good. And CRINC parents would be knowing about that masterclass. And there is another theme called Position Your Mind, which is mainly giving importance for parents. We have many roles to play. Even when everything comes in our hand, we tend to get stressed. It creates emotional damage in children also. So focusing on raising ourselves will help you in raising your children. So this is mainly about helping the parental stress. And the third theme is discipline without compulsion, where mainly focus on disciplining a child. Disciplining child is always a struggle for parents or a task. If you would like to know more tricks and tips or techniques to discipline the child without any harsh punishments, and you are at the right place. So these are the three themes for 3 months transformation program. So join this. Actually gift your child a memorable childhood and also raise them mentally healthy. So, and also I would like to give you an offer. If you're taking this program by tomorrow, 28th of January, you can have a free session with one of our mentors at Crink. I am a parent mentor. So there are others also. So you'll be getting a free session with one of us. Okay. So that's about parenting without frustration. It includes live sessions, access to video lessons, weekly targets will be there to implement, and you will also get access to WhatsApp community. Hope you got it. And if you have any queries, you can call in this number, and you will be able to talk to Shruti. Okay. And let's move on to the main part, which is the influence of negative communication with the brain development of the child. So there is a vast, this is the last topic. I'll be concluding with this point. So thank you for staying till now. And yeah, so there is a vast amount of evidence. This is a very important point, please listen. There's a vast amount of evidence from psychological studies that the amount of parent-child interaction affects the development of children's verbal skills and knowledge. We all know that the way a child is parented has a deep and great impact on that child's life. But now that we have to detailed, we have actually a lot of scientific researches, and we have brain scans and all of that. We are learning just how important parenting actually is. So what happens during a child's formative years directly impacts the brain's growth and development. So it has a lot of importance. Okay, so when a parent's behavior does not create a loving, supportive environment, a child's brain develops in altered form. And they become dysfunctional, irrational, and destructive behavior patterns are literally programmed into the child's brain. So setting the stage for recurring issues throughout the child's life, and also it affects them continuously. So among a host of scientific studies on these issues, I had found a research which was done by Washington University School of Medicine. They show that children of nurturing mothers have much larger, healthier brains. So furthermore, the hippocampus of neglected children were up to 10% smaller than those of children with caring, loving mothers. So this is very important. So because the hippocampus is the region of the brain responsible for memory, stress control, learning, and other cognitive tasks. So there is this brain architecture which is comprised of billions of connections between individual neurons across different areas of the brain. So these connections enable fast communication among neurons, and that specialize in different kinds of brain functions. So if it is actually, if you look at it, it has a lot of influence. So interactions of these, this experience actually shape the developing brain. So what happens? It actually affects the intelligence and education. How? A children who is subject to any level of abuse, mistreatment, or neglect through communication will often grow up with lower intelligence levels and cognitive strength, and consequences that obviously have a detrimental effect on his or her education. So you have seen children who are very poor in studies and have issues in school. There must be something happening at home, or even if it is not severe also, there will be some pattern that is happening at home, and the communication, the bonding, everything is included, and it will even affect their career when they become an adult. When we struggle with problems in our careers, their roots can be traced to our childhood issues. Decision making ability, problem solving skills, all such cognitive function, it is actually, if you look at it, it is traced to childhood issues. Furthermore, if our parents were unsupportive, engaged in obvious or subtle put downs, or even destructive relationship and communication patterns, these issues will become wired into our brains and during our development. And about mental health, and it is very evident that it definitely cause problems. Childhood trauma caused by parental mistreatment can lead to a host of mental health dysfunctions. And in fact, many studies have shown a significant link between childhood trauma and mental illness. Childhood trauma can also lead to anxiety and depression. So even successful people who have, even if they are good at academics also, maybe their emotional development must have been affected, and they get into, they lead to anxiety and depression and even other mental health problems. So yeah, so the third point is relationship. It affects the relationship. You can just look at yourself and others also. If there is a problem with relationship, like marital relationship, friends, or any family members, whoever it is, if you're not able to keep good relationship with another person, we can trace that back to our childhood. So cognitive, emotional, and social capacities are greatly intertwined throughout the life course. So the brain is a highly integrated organ, and its multiple functions operate in coordination with one another. So emotional well-being and social competence provide a strong foundation for emerging cognitive abilities, and together they are the bricks, and that's how it helps the brain architecture. So this is all about, if I can talk about it, there are a lot of things to talk about the brain development. So mainly I just included these 3 points. So yeah, I don't want to end this webinar in a very like a negative note. I would like to tell you something interesting to while I'm concluding. So I'll ask you this question: can the brain be rewired? I would say yes. I am not saying yes. Actually, it is proven that scientists have proven that there is this phenomenon called neuroplasticity. So if you're thinking, I have been talking about a lot of negative things and how you can do. Instead, you must be thinking, okay, I have done a lot of things to my child, and even I have experienced a lot from my parents, but there is no way out. Don't think that. Stop there. Actually, your brain can be rewired. So there is this interesting phenomenon or ability of our brain where we can actually change and adapt due to experience. It is this brain's ability. Actually, the best news is that neuroplasticity brings to parents is the knowledge that the brain is capable of learning new things at any point in life. So if you have an impact due to the trauma you had in your childhood, or if you have done anything, if this kind of problems at your house, you're doing it to your child, you can actually change that. You can actually change the impact that happened. Okay, so mainly what you need to do is you need to have skills for that. You need to learn about it. We need to tell our brain that, okay, I'm ready to learn, and you give a lot of effort for that, and you keep learning and make small improvements. So what happens is the new function has new neural connections have happened, new pathways have happened, will happen. And what happens here there is that brains create and strengthen new pathways, neuro pathways, and it will actually help you to change the impact that you have had in yourself and also with your children. So we can do that by setting new goals or engaging in healthy habits. Those establish and promote those new pathways, which soon become entrenched as those positive behaviors and it becomes habits. So as your brain's neurons continue to fire in this way, you with new habit, new experience, some form of learning, and then you create a new skill, they will eventually form a physical connection. So whatever impact that you have had, you will be able to break that and find a new skill out of it. So today, take that challenge, learn about parenting, and Krink is providing a platform for that if you're interested, and learn about parenting and have good parenting skills so that we can give our children new life or memorable childhood, so that we can raise mentally healthy children, confident children for the next generation. Thank you so much. And so that's all about it. And I think we have 10 minutes for questions if you have any. And also you can tell me how was the session, whether was it interesting or very boring. Thank you, Ajmal. If there is any question you want to ask, you can do that now. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Jadid here.
Hi, Jadir. How are you?
It was a nice session. I used to follow you guys. It was always nice to learn from you guys.
Thank you
Just
so
one
much.
thing. I mean, yeah. How do you guys learn? I mean, did you get some training from some people, or was it like from your kids or something you learned all these things?
Very good question. Actually, I am myself, I'm actually a consultant psychologist, and I got certified as a parent coach. I actually did a course in this, and all this motive I got from why I wanted to learn. If you ask me, it's because of my child, and I wanted to learn a lot about it because in the beginning itself, I really want to make my child mentally healthy, and so that what I can do. So I started learning about it. So that's how it happened. And when I joined Krink, and I got more information because people around me learn every day, and we do have discussions, and we do research, and we have a lot of resources. So that's how we learn, and we all can do that. Like I said, neuroplasticity. I hope that
Yeah,
answered your question.
yeah, definitely. And just one more thing. It would be my last question for this session.
Okay.
This kind of issues or the scenario which we see right on a daily basis. So at that particular moment, I mean, at least me as a parent, sometimes nothing comes in my control. The control goes away, and then after a while, when I think back, I also feel that I should have done a bit different, but that's already gone.
Yeah.
Even though I know I hear a lot of this kind of things, again at that particular moment, we as parent, I mean, it's not what we normally want to
I
do.
understand. I understand.
Yeah,
That's the first thing that I said in the webinar. See, the thing is, we all are parents, we all are human beings also, and what we are doing something that we haven't received from my parents, from our parents, I would say that, because this is something that we are breaking a chain. Actually, the traditional way of parenting, we are actually breaking that. Okay, so it needs a lot of effort. Like I said, learn about it and try to be mindful. See, like you said, whatever has happened, it is gone. Past is gone, future is yet to come. Just be mindful about now, what is happening now, and understand yourself first. Understand about yourself, what is happening, what am I doing, what am I thinking, what am I doing, what am I feeling, everything. You'll understand about yourself first, and be mindful about it, and learn a lot about it, and then you make small improvements. If you're a person, generally, if I'm saying, there are people who don't express love to us, and they feel that, oh, that's not necessary, but it is actually necessary. So if you give start giving small, like start doing some small improvements, like, okay, starting with a smile every day, do that every day. The brain actually tends to do it, tends to learn a lot of things. Like, when these small improvements accumulate, that actually there will be a day, and you will feel that, okay, there is result, good result. Start. So today, if you're doing it well, tomorrow if it is going out of control, it's okay, let it be. It's okay. Apologize. Talk to the child. Take some time. Understand yourself. What is happening? Next day, try again. Try again. You will actually see the results for sure. Start with small tasks. Start with sitting with the child for 5 minutes. Even that is okay. If you are guilty about it, you will get angry next time for sure. So try to understand that guilt, and that will not help you anyway. So look for acceptance. Give kind attention towards you. You will be able to make changes, and take parental programs like this to start learning, and take help from others. Yeah, Jadir?
yep, got it. Thanks.
Okay, okay. Yes. Any questions? Alzag? Nazia? Yes. Anybody?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum. I have a question.
Yeah.
How to deal with children when they reach puberty? Because a lot of behavioral changes happen. They become
Yes.
rebellious and
Mm,
they just don't want to listen if we
mm,
advise something, and
mm,
they answer back. They have justification for everything. Like
mm,
the age of 11 years,
mm,
I'm talking about. Like my
mm,
son is
mm,
approaching 11 years now.
mm.
So I'm facing this. So how to deal with that?
See, puberty, adolescence mainly, it's very, we always say that it's a very difficult stage. But if we are, we have a proper bonding from the beginning, or if we have a proper communication with the child from the beginning, early years itself will be easier during the, like now the child is preteen, no, 11 year, right? 11-year-old. So adolescent, starting stage. Okay. So actually now that he is here, it is better if you can be a listener, try to acknowledge his feelings, try to understand him, understand his world. There will be mood swings, try to understand more about puberty, what will happen during that time, and let him know about it. It's all normal, accept it. Okay. If instead, if you're judging the child, and the child will feel that, okay, I am having some problem, so instead let him know that it is normal. Physically and mentally there will be a lot of changes happening during adolescence, and it is okay. And talk about it, have conversations about it. Do not like all these things that I've discussed, you can do that with your children also. Just don't criticize for their emotions, or for their mood swings, for the disagreements. Give some time, talk to the child later, and when he calms down, whatever words he use towards you, even if it is hatred also, let him be, it's okay. Later you can tell him, I can see that you were upset. You can talk about it. There must be a reason behind every emotion. So that will actually help. Have conversations. Consider him as a separate individual who has all mood swings. And like I said about adolescence, you need to learn more about it. And please take help if you need it. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, Saliha.
Hi, Shemsiya.
Hi.
Nowadays it's very common. It's very common that kids tend to body shame each other.
Hmm.
Like you're very thin, you're very dark, you're very fat, and I never do it. For
Hmm.
me, I always take whatever they look as beautiful.
Hmm.
But whenever we try to correct our kids, it's becoming very hard because it's very common now in
Hmm.
school.
Hmm.
Daily, it's like almost daily they come and they complain that kid
Hmm.
told me I'm very thin, that kid told me
Hmm.
I'm very short, and all those kind of things. So how do we actually
Hmm.
make our son or make our child confident about it?
Yeah, good question, Salia. See, actually, bullying happens in school. Usually, we can see that. Even at home, we can see that. But for bullying, what we can do is from the beginning itself, you can give attention for his positive behaviors. It actually help the child a lot. Okay, from at home also, if you can look at his positive behaviors and give time for that, and more help and support for that, it can actually help the child to be more confident and think that, okay, I can do a lot of things. That is one thing. And another thing is, whenever the child comes from school and saying, okay, this happened, and you listen to the child, acknowledge the feelings, and you can tell the child, okay, see, only when we give a lot of attention, that actually you can give it as a story or something, make it fun. Okay, something like, Salia, I think we can discuss that in our session also. So mainly, as you are a cring parent, we will be meeting. So the thing is, when you can actually tell the child, okay, see, if a person is doing that to you, you can have an option whether to take it or not take it. You can actually teach that with a story, with the children, with the child, actually. So if you can have that conversation with the child, and mainly listen and acknowledge first, and then get into such conversations, will actually help. But it has to be constant, and always give attention to the positive behaviors. I think we can do that in our sessions, Alia. It needs a lot of, it takes time. It will take time and a lot of effort also. Let's do that. Okay, Salha. Hope that
Yeah,
answered your question.
thank you.
Yes. Nazia?
Hi.
Yes,
Assalamu
Shaima. Alaikum assalam.
alaikum. Hi. That was a very nice session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
I wanted to know something which is specifically related to my profession. I'm a teacher,
Mhm.
and often we have many students in the class who are like they do not have such a good atmosphere at home. So, like in this case, we had a lot of more than 100 parents who were interested in the parenting session. So you see this positive vibe in them, but a lot of cases that we see a lot of neglect which is related to emotional, with related to studies and things like that. So how do we get such messages across parents who are not willing to come to school, who don't want to participate in things? Often I see a lot of students suffering because of issues in the family and all that.
Okay, that's really difficult. I understand. If the parent
I
is not ready, yes, yes, Shaima, you were adding something.
no, I'd like to hear what you want to say.
Yeah. See, as a teacher, you can help the child. That you can do, but you cannot force the child's parent to come. If they're not willing, what we can do? We can't do anything. But maybe as a teacher in the classroom, you can give a lot of effort to understand how and how the child for in which like what we can say is mainly find out what he is interested in, try to understand him better. Maybe that will help. So this is like a very broad question. I don't think I can answer that, because if the parents are not ready, I don't think it will be a good thing, because only even for the caring parents, I always say when they come and they take effort, they will see the results. The parents are not
Exactly,
ready
but
to be
sometimes
very
also what happens is, like one of the parents, suppose a mother is interested, she's ready to do things, but then you'll have opposing views from the other parent,
yeah, that
and it
is there.
becomes very
That is there.
difficult to ask
Huh.
them to get a routine or things like
Okay.
that.
So yeah. So now you have a red flag. Your mother is ready. So take effort. So let the mother change. So whatever we can do, let's do that. Okay, if the mother is saying, okay, even if I do something, if even if I take a lot of effort, if my husband is not taking, that's okay. We don't have control over the other person. We have control of ourselves, right? We can change by taking a lot of effort. When they see the result, they'll also change. Okay, that I
Okay,
think as a teacher you will help him.
thank you.
Yes.
Hello, Shamsiya. Very nice session.
Hi, Razak. Thank you.
Nice to see. This is my first time, and I'm really impressed with what you've done.
Thanks
So
a
my
lot.
question quickly was about neuroplasticity.
Hmm.
To what extent can the brain be rewired?
Yeah, you have another question?
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So regarding neuroplasticity, it says that like it's a course of lifetime. It says we can do that. Even trauma, depression, anxiety, everything can be have like changed, or the brain function can be changed. That's what the researchers say. If you can have a look on it, you will understand. We can rewire whatever weak function that we have. We can come over with the new pathways by learning about new things, doing new things, and we can come up with new. If we are coming up with new habits, we can actually take over the function that weak function that I already have in our brain. So even the stroke patients are getting better because of neuroplasticity concept, it seems, phenomenon, it seems. So it's a great news, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So there is hope even for extreme damages.
Yes.
Oh.
But there are conditions apply that you need to look into it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Nazia and Rupa. Yes, Hasina.
Yeah, actually, as a doctor, I have a suggestion about the neuroplasticity. Actually, it will take from months to year, but the children, they can change immediately because these are the growing cells,
Yeah.
and
Correct.
sometimes we will get an immediate improvement after 3 months itself. So the improvement is especially in the prefrontal cortex.
Yes.
Prefrontal cortex is the one that they can take the ability to make better decision. So it will be, I think it will minimum 3 month means for the children. I think before 3 months we can expect the
That's why
outcome.
we
Thank
do
you.
tell. Thank you, Hasina, for that. To help for that wonderful information. Actually, when we give a learning environment for our children, they tend to like this rewiring brain, actually that happens like for the children, because it will be very strong. The neural connections are very strong, so that it happens very fast. But with age, it reduces. That's all. But it takes years. That's all. But with children, it will be fast, and that's why we have to give them support to learn new skills and positive like affirmations and attention to positive behaviors. Yes, I think we'll
Yeah,
conclude.
the another thing I got from Kring, especially as a Kring parent, actually, if you're doing the positive things to change the neuroplasticity, to take the good outcome for the neuroplasticity, consistency is very important.
Yes.
So I think it will take 21 days to get to get a habit.
Yeah.
So we can expect the outcome of neuroplasticity after 21 days itself. I
Yeah,
think it's
very
okay,
true.
Shemsiya. Yeah.
Yes. We need to be consistent.
And for the neuroplasticity, I think they need, if we are expecting the neuroplasticity in children, they want the support, bonding, affection, acknowledgement, acceptance, everything. So they need a parenting without frustration. So this is the
Yeah.
idea for the
Yes.
empowering parents.
Yes.
Thank you.
Like Jadira asked, how if I'm going out of control, and what do I do? If we can build a habit, something like patience. If you keep on being patient every day, you tend to be patient when the situation comes after 21 days, or maybe before that, I would say. Every day, if you try to be patient, then you're building that skill. So like that, each habit, if you can build in like that, you will be, if you're trying to look at the positive things only in the room, you will always, every day, if you will be seeing only positive, your brain will only see the positive things. That's how it is. So make small improvements every day and you create a habit. With that, can I conclude? Nripa, I think you can ask the last question. You have been raising your hand.
Yeah, Shemsiya,
Yes, Nripa.
I just wanted to say this concept about timeout. How does that figure in positive parenting? Like, how can we use it in a good way where they don't feel as if they are being punished, but it's something to calm themselves that way.
Yes. Nripa, it's like we can consider timeout.
No, it's like
Yes, Nripa?
I have this experience with my kids from in the previous school, but I don't see it encouraged now when mostly here in India. Like I don't see it in the place where I am. I don't see that concept happening. So they just think it as a punishment sort of.
I understand.
So how do you
See,
think we can
timeout is
incorporate that?
Yeah, I'll tell you how. Timeout is usually the timeout was used something like, okay, if the child shows up misbehavior or an unacceptable behavior, the child is sent to a room and the child is sitting there alone for some time, and it will actually affect the child. So the timeout has to be like something like time in, where the child we can use it. If you're using it properly, it will give you result. But if you're considering it as a punishment, that it will actually affect the child. So instead, what you can do is time in, where the child is sent to the room in a non-stimulating environment where there are no toys or anything. It's a plain room where a corner or something, the child can sit there, and the child, you can tell the child to look at the other side and sit, and you can be with the child at that time. For if the child is 3-year-old, 3 minutes, 5-year-old, 5 minutes, like that it is, I guess. So that time, only that time, and that much time should be given, and child will be sitting there, and you also will be sitting there, and you can even have conversation with the child, but in a non-stimulating environment. That's how it is, I guess. So that's that's the information I have had when I learned about time. Timeout is used very harshly by the people, but it shouldn't be like that. You're grounded, you go sit there. So that will not help the child. Hope that answered your question. Shall we wind up?
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, Shemsiya.
Okay. If you are interested in our parenting programs, like Parenting Without Frustration, we also provide personal mentoring. You can contact Shruti, and the number and the contact number and the details will be put up in the chat box. Shruti? So yeah, I think there are a lot of messages, and I'm really sorry. It's already time. I hope we'll do that in the coming webinars. Okay. So you take the number and you can take help from us. We are ready to help you, and I'm welcoming you for the wonderful experience that we can give you. And yeah, take care, everyone. Good night. Bye. Thanks a lot.